With me, here we go. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, 100 milers. Headlamps on, you're out of here. Headlamps on, guys. Headlamps on. Headlamps on. Enjoy it out there, guys. We're gonna have a gong for you to ring when you are done. Not very many people get to ring a gong, but you do. Players, underway. You're at Antelope Canyon.
We're about 5 miles into this thing. Antelope Canyon 100 miler. Sun's out, it's a nice morning. Low 50s, overcast. Feel good so far. It's funny, already in this race, I met 4 other people running Cocodona using this as a training run, so we kind of all have the same idea. So I kind of have this annoying squeak thing going. One of the guys I was running with said there's air in the pack, that you have to bleed the air out. So at the aid station, I'm gonna turn my pack upside down and then suck the air out of it through the straw, and he said that should fix it, so didn't know that. And hopefully it works, because if I have to hear this for 100 miles, I'll go crazy. About to approach our first little slot canyon. Little one, but still very cool. There's a couple of these we're gonna go through. Of course, Antelope Canyon and Waterholes Canyon being the 2 big ones, but there's also several of these smaller ones we'll get to see. We've had a little bit of rain here recently, so the sand's actually, it's still loose, but it's not terrible. But there's a lot of sand on this course. And left my house to drive up here, got about a half hour up the road and realized I forgot my gaiters. And so, like any other race, I probably just would have said screw it, kept going, but definitely turned around to get my gaiters, because for this race with the sand, it makes a big difference. Very cool. This is why I come back to this race every year. Stuff like this.
This is like off a movie.
Hey, mommy, this way, try to come up. I came up this way. Sorry.
You're good. Stand up.
Yeah, use your pulse up there.
Very cool. Some people were struggling there, but it wasn't too bad. Just need good shoes. There's the first aid station.
Ooh, watermelon.
Cool. Thank you, volunteers. first aid station. And it sounds like the squeak in the pack is gone. That's an amazing tip. Gotta remember that. On the way to Antelope Canyon. Approaching upper Antelope Canyon. Just ran into my buddy West Plate around the 50 miler today. They started a little bit before us. Here we go. Whoa. Lighting's not great in here, but trying to get some phone pictures as well. Pretty amazing. Well, they were calling for light rain between 9 and 11 a.m. It just started raining on us just as we were getting out of Antelope Canyon. Just a little bit, not too bad. It should clear up, and then chance of rain again tonight. So that should be fun. You can see our trail. You can climb up this section here. That rainbow.
Rainbow is.
Awesome.
Oh, shit.
Another slot canyon. Third one or fourth one so far. We're like 9.5 miles in. A ladder here. Still getting rained on, but not too bad. Yeah, a little. So we're back on this dirt road, heading back to the Antelope Canyon aid station. Mentioned a little bit ago, I ran into my buddy West Plate. He was coming this way, I was coming that way. Doing the 50 miler today, so they started at 5:45. We started at 6. But he's definitely one of my biggest inspirations. Not only with running, but with YouTube as well. Like him and Carrie Ward. They're like the two main channels that got me into trail running and making YouTube videos. So Wes's videos are much better than mine. His tend to be not quite as long, but they're very well produced. He does a lot of really cool video editing and like map overlaying and just stuff that I don't know how to do. But anyway, if you're following me and not following him, I don't know why you would be, but definitely give West Plate a follow on YouTube. He has some great content, and definitely looking forward to seeing his video of this race and seeing what it's like through his perspective compared to mine. So just thought I'd share that and shout him out because he's a great guy and he's got a great YouTube channel. So we're following this kind of power line dirt road. I don't know if you can hear, but it sounds like it's raining. But it's actually the electricity getting zapped through these wires. So it's kind of cool. But we're on this long stretch for a while. And that's kind of how this race is. You go to some amazing, beautiful locations. And then there's just stretches in between where it's just kind of like this for a while until you get to the next beautiful, amazing location. So we're making our way to Horseshoe Bend, but we have another aid station first in a couple of miles. So you hear that? Pretty cool. So we're almost 15 miles in. You can see our trail at the moment isn't really a trail, but that's another one of the cool things about this race in particular is a lot of it is off trail through stretches of land that people usually would never go on. So got this really cool colored slick rock that we're traveling across, and it is wet. It's been raining pretty good here for the last, I don't know, 10-15 minutes or so. Looks like it's starting to ease up, but it's still very, very much overcast. And it's just after 9 a.m. So the weather forecast, like I said, they're calling for rain from 9 to 11. So it might be like this for the next few hours. But what can you do? Can't control the weather. So we're coming off of this mesa here, about to do a road crossing. You can see past that road, there's a part of the Vermilion Cliffs. There's a really cool low-hanging cloud kind of below the rim there. I don't know if you can see it, but a little turned around, but I believe if you follow the cliffs this way, that'll lead you to Marble Canyon, which is kind of like the start of Grand Canyon. I think it's that way. It's one of the two ways. I'm a little turned around right now. But Page, Arizona, it's a really cool town. They call it the heart of the Grand Circle. So the Grand Circle is Grand Canyon, Bryce Canyon, Zion Canyon, those three national parks. And Page is like kind of right at the heart of that, right? So you can get to any of those locations in like 1 to 2 hours. You know, Grand Canyon, South Rim or North Rim, Bryce and Zion. It's all a short drive away from Page. So they call this the heart of the Grand Circle, and the Vermilion Cliffs are another beautiful spot out here. There's so much to see here. If you've never been to Page, super cool town, right on the border of Utah and Arizona. So over here to the right, kind of in between those two rock formations, that's the original start-finish line for this race. I believe, I'm like 95% sure that's what it is. But as you can see, they're doing construction over there, which they were doing that last year too. So the finish line for the past 2 years has been at the Page Sports Expo, which is a little like baseball field in town. But that's a really cool spot to end the race, because like you come back from behind that mesa right there, and you're kind of going through like a sandy wash like this, but then there's like a little footbridge you cross and you make a right, and there's kind of like just these two giant rocks on each side of you. Kind of makes like a little tunnel, and then that's where the finish line was. But doing construction, as you can see, so start and finish is in town now. But if any of you guys have seen my other videos of this race, you'll notice that the finish line is going to be different, and that's why. Alright, just left the Slick Rockade, which means you're on our way to Horseshoe Bend in 2.5 miles. Quick little section. My mom and my wife are waiting for me there. Be excited to see them. And feeling good so far. We're 17.5 miles in. I have no idea pace or time goals or anything like that. I just want to finish and have a good day. So far we're doing that. The landscapes out here are just so cool. And that's why I keep coming back. So on paper, this course doesn't appear to be that hard. You know, it's only like 6,500 feet to climb, which for a 100 miler is kind of flat, but this is what makes it hard. There's so much sand, so the climbs you do have, you really got to work for them. And I know we're 18 miles into this thing, and it's been just sand the whole way. Some of it like pretty thick. So on paper, it's an easy course, but it's deceptively hard. Approaching the aid station. And the sun is out. It's warmed up a little bit, so I actually might take off some layers here. It's awesome. Look at all the clouds hugging the cliffs ahead. Beautiful. Thank you.
Straight ahead.
Thank you. All right, just left Horseshoe Aid. Did a wardrobe change, got some dry clothes on. So we've got a road crossing up ahead, and then we'll be at Horseshoe Bend. Just started drizzling again, but temperature's not too bad, so I'm gonna keep this. I have a jacket with me just in case. But just at 20 miles and still feeling strong. I'm not sure if you can see, but actually probably not now that we're going down this hill, but off to the right, past all this, the main trail to get to Horseshoe Bend, where all the tourists go. For this race, this way. Yep. Just don't fall.
Damn.
Yeah.
Scary as fuck. That looks beautiful though.
It's awesome. So for this race, instead of going where all the tourists go, we are on the Navajo side of Horseshoe Bend, and we get to go through Slick Rock, and we're following pink ribbons. This is a really cool section. This is my favorite section of the race, but it's not very runnable just because the terrain's so gnarly. But you get views like this the whole way, Colorado River, and there's Horseshoe Bend, and it's awesome. All right, real quick, get a nice shot of this and we'll keep going. Awesome. Kind of show you what I mean about this section. I mean, there's just no trail here, but there's these pink ribbons pinned up every so often, so you just kind of try to spot them and pick your own way to get there. And it's just gonna hug the river for a little bit. It's cool because we're gonna see some other bends in the Colorado River that aren't Horseshoe Bend, but still have that like 270-degree curve to them. And like you would never see that unless you were doing this race. And again, like I've said it a bunch, but this is why I keep coming back to this race. I've been here 4 years now, and it's just so beautiful. I think, especially for a 50-miler, this is probably like one of the more scenic ones you could ever do. See, we're just kind of along the rim here. You can see the river down there. Really cool rock features. Up there's where we're going. And we're just making our way across. And it is beautiful. Starting to rain again. So we're back to the sand. We've been trudging along here for a little bit. Starting to climb up some more slick rock. This is a tough section. This is it's like a 5 or 6 mile stretch back along this rim. And you can really beat your feet up just because the terrain is kind of brutal. I mean, it's my favorite section of the race because of how pretty it is, but it is hard. So this is going to be a slow section. I've been doing like 16-minute miles, which is totally fine for this stretch. You know, 16, 17 even minute miles is good. I mean, this is mostly just walking for me, so just want to get through this section without my feet being destroyed, because there's still a long way to go after this. But it is beautiful out here and very, very quiet and peaceful. So I'm just enjoying the scenery and the solitude of this place. This terrain is just incredible. There's the Colorado River, there's another bend. So, not the Horseshoe Bend, but I guess a secret Horseshoe Bend that only we get to see. Take a closer look, then we're going that way. Look at that. Amazing. That's the view down there. Awesome.
Crumbly rock over there.
Looks like one more shot of the river here. Maybe. I think this is the last one. There's someone struggling, afraid of falling, afraid of heights. I never thought about that. If you're afraid of heights, this section might not be the best idea, but there's some kayakers, some boaters. That is beautiful. Absolutely incredible here. This whole area with all the slick rock and the formations in the rock, it reminds me a lot of the wave, which it's a hike here in Arizona, about 45 minutes from Page. I was lucky enough to win the lottery on my second try, so I got to do the wave a couple years ago. But it's a lot of really cool formations like this. So if you've been trying to win the wave lottery for years with no luck, like most people, just come run Antelope Canyon. You get like a mini version of the wave with bonus views of the Colorado River. Let's just give you an idea of what this section's like. There is nobody else out here. And I am pretty sure I'm on trail. Not positive. Just trying to find a pink ribbon. There's one right there in that bush, so. But it's pretty cool feeling to be out here like this. Made it off the slick rock into the aid station. There we go. About to drop into water holes, Slop Canyon. Very, very cool area. Looks like this was not here in years past. I wonder if I got some feedback that this descent was a little sketchy, because it is, honestly. We have a line to get into water holes. So this was not like this in years past. I guess, do we wait? Crazy. I think so, but I'm not sure. So we just waited in line for about 45 minutes almost to go down that ladder to drop into water holes. Not super happy right now, but time to make up some time.
I guess I've never had a good race photo. Like either a desperate look or some puffy face, too much electrolyte here.
This is a little crazy.
You're a lot faster.
Thanks.
Stay away from the peeps too.
Another slot canyon area that we're going through, just past water holes. Starting to rain again, but luckily I have my jacket in my pack. Yeah, that entrance into water holes was different than it has been in previous years, and that was kind of ridiculous, having to wait 45 minutes to descend that ladder. Ooh, tight squeeze. This is so beautiful. Gosh, sketchy. Oh, we got a rope. Left the Horseshoe aid station for the second time, so we're a little over 31 miles, like 31 and a half. Making this death march back up the hill. It's good. There's some there were some runnable sections there after getting out of water holes, Slot Canyon, so I was able to make up some time. Talking to a couple of different people. One guy I was talking to, it's funny, we grew up like in the towns next to each other back in PA, so small world, pretty crazy. But that wait for the ladder was ridiculous. We were waiting for like 40 minutes, you know, and the cutoffs for this race like aren't super lenient, like they're kind of strict. So the fact that we just wasted 40 minutes just waiting wasn't great. I feel like yeah, we came into that canyon differently last year and every other year that I've done this. So whatever change they made, I'm not sure why they made that change, but it wasn't very good because we never had that issue before. But we're still in good shape. We're 7.5 hours, 32 miles. So still looking good. Can't catch a break with weather this year. It's been so snowy in Flagstaff. Can't even get any training in without going to Sedona or driving an hour and a half. We're watching the weather all week for Paige. It's supposed to be nice until like 2 days ago they're calling for rain, and we're getting spat on. What are you gonna do? So we are on our way to the Page Rim aid station where we will begin our loops. It's still raining. Just kind of blew through the last aid station just because it's a suffer fest, so might as well keep suffering, right? So the way this course is laid out is the Page, Arizona is kind of like the hub of it, right? So it starts in Page, you do an out and back to Antelope Canyon, you do a loop to Horseshoe, and then you do a loop on the rim trail. And that's the 50-mile course. So we've done the first 2 legs, we're making our way back into the town of Page, and then we'll hop on the rim trail. Now for the 100-mile course, you stay on the rim trail, you do 6 loops, right? So instead of 1 loop and you're done for the 50-mile, for the 100, you're doing that 10-mile loop 6 times. Washing machine style, so you alternate directions each lap. So that's where we're headed now, up on the Page Rim to do the rim trail. And then I have pacers for loops 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I'll get up there. First 2 loops will be solo. And then I'll have pacers the rest of the way, which I'm really, really thankful and excited for. You know, I love this course. I love this race, but I don't know. The first year I did it was 2019, and it was like 75 degrees, sunny, like perfect weather, blue skies. The year after that, wasn't quite as warm, but it was like in the 60s. But like last year was really cold. This year it's cold and it's raining. So I'm just trying to stay positive, because with these long distances you have to keep a positive mindset. The second you start going negative, your whole race can spiral. That's what happened to me last year. I attempted the 100-mile distance here last year and I DNF'd at mile 70. I'm not trying to let that happen this year. So even though the conditions are horrible, quitting is just not an option. And that's kind of why I was annoyed at that 45-minute hold up at the ladder. Just because I was a little bit undertrained last year, but like I was pushing cutoffs, right? So to lose 45 minutes like that was just ridiculous. If I were them, honestly, like I would push the cutoffs back to make up for that, because if you're a back of the pack runner and you're already fighting cutoffs as it is, and then you just lose 45 minutes and it's not your fault, that's not right. But we're in good shape. We're 8 hours in, a third of the way done, mile 34, so we'll see if we can keep it up. Pretty neat little area. Little Navajo Heritage Museum we're going through. Very cool. Good work. Well, the rain let up a little bit, so, but it still looks kind of nasty out. But for now, it's not so bad. Doing the death march at this hill. But almost to the rim. Okay, we are on the Page Rim Trail. Just left Page Rim Aid. I met my crew there, which is my mom and my wife. I did a complete wardrobe change. Shirt, jacket, pants, shoes, socks. So I am in dry clothes, at least for the moment. Very thankful for that. It's still drizzling. It's gonna rain off and on pretty much for the rest of this thing. So this will be a lesson in suffering for sure. But for now, we have 6 loops. So this is the first one. Here we go. Okay. Okay, these conditions are absolutely horrible. This trail, which is funny because this is like the first actual formal trail we've been on all day. You know, we've mostly been like cross country and off trail and stuff, but the trail that we're on is just a muddy, slippery mess. So, not great, but we're doing the best we can. See Lake Powell here, winding its way around. Very pretty. Good to see the water level up a little bit, especially compared to last year. Trail conditions have gotten slightly better, but still not very good. But it is what it is. It's beautiful. Got some more views of Lake Powell here on the Page Rim Trail. Very pretty. So we're kind of isolated right now, so I thought I would talk a little bit about my history at this race. Why this race is kind of sentimental with me. This is actually my first ultra. In 2019, I ran the 55K. And I had just taken a road trip that summer to the Southwest, fell in love with it out here, decided to move out here. But after getting back from that road trip, I saw a Facebook ad for this race. Came up on my feed and it just looked like the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And you're getting to run around these beautiful locations, like, just looked awesome. So I signed up for the 55K. I had run a marathon before that, but was still very much a road racer. So I showed up to the 55K, pair of road shoes, like this crappy $30 hydration belt from Amazon that held just like, I don't know, 2 little plastic things of liquid. So I had like water in each one, but I didn't want to drink just water, so I would put like flavoring in there. So I had an orange one and a blue one. You know, no shoes, no like just didn't know what I was doing. But ran it, had an amazing experience. One of the best times of my life, really. So I came back the next year, ran the 50 miler. It was my first 50. And again, amazing experience. So this race is kind of what got me into trail running, really. It was my first foray into the activity in 2019, running that 55K. And then like, I also just remember like being there after I was done, coming back the next morning, watching some of the 100-mile finishers and just being so inspired by that. So it kind of like, I guess, planted the seed even back then for me to want to go get into the longer distances. So I've run this race every year since 2019. I did the 55K and the 50 miler. I attempted the 100-miler last year, dropped out at mile 70, my one and only DNF. But I was just undertrained for that. So back this year for revenge. But yeah, that's my history of this race, why I love it so much.
Sarah, we're gonna be gone.
Okay.
Man. Aid station is just completely mudded over. I have so much mud on my shoes right now. But we're gonna keep pushing through. That's what we do, right? Quitting is not an option. Not today. Wow. Yeah, I think we're getting wet. God dang it. Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm gonna squeeze by you on your left or on your right. Wow. What a great desert race this is. So here's the latest update. You can actually see the lights behind me. I don't know if you can see it, but it's the baseball field. That's where the finish line is. So all the 50 milers are going that way and 100 milers are looping. Good work. I got a fresh change of clothes at the aid station again. My awesome crew, they took my clothes to a laundromat and threw them in the dryer. So I'm back to having dry shirt, dry socks, dry shoes, dry hat, for now anyway. And they also got me this poncho. So they are awesome. It's starting to get dark out. Good work, man. So I probably won't update as much. Good work, guys.
Nice work.
Good job, good job. Good job. So this is my second loop, so after this one I'll be picking up pacers the rest of the way. So look at my friend Erin, she's doing laps 3 and 4, and then my friend Jasmine doing laps 5 and 6. So very much looking forward to having company to get me through this night. Hoping the trail will get better, but I'm not counting on that. It's pretty bad right now. Good job. So yeah, loop 2, we're gonna keep plugging away. We're still feeling strong, we're still making good time. I kind of took a lot of time at that last aid station just with the wardrobe change and everything, but we're like 12 and a half hours in, halfway. So, you know, you do the math, looking at a 25, 26, 27 hour, well within the 30-hour cutoff, which is great. So, we're gonna keep going. Nice work.
Nice.
All right, update. We made it through the night. We are on our last loop, mile 88 and a half. The Grim Reaper time to leave that aid station was 9 a.m. Current time is 7:46, so like a minute or an hour and 15 ahead of cutoffs. Just got word that there were 200 people that started this race. As of now, 3 have finished, and there are 25 still on the course. So assuming all 25 finish, which probably won't happen, but assuming that is true, that means 28 out of 200 people will finish this race, which is insane. But the trail's still super muddy, dried out a little bit, kind of rained off and on till like 1 a.m. or so, and then it was raining a little bit more, I don't know, like 3 or 4, but the sun's poking out now and it's very pretty. Got Jasmine here with me. She helped me through the night. She's a rock star. What do you want to say about this race?
Hardest ultra I've ever done.
Yes.
And it's incredible, but I'm glad we made it.
Well, we got 12 miles to go, then we'll have made it. Good work, fellas.
Hey.
With my cute little 20 miles.
Well, hey, 20 miles, you're doing 30. on this stuff is no joke.
It's funny, we're real, man.
This is probably the worst trail conditions I've ever ran in.
Yeah.
It's so muddy. Didn't you made a comment, it was like, instead of running, we're like surfing on the mud.
Yes.
And that's literally what it feels like for some of this stuff. But one more time around the rim trail, and then never have to run the rim trail ever again.
The problem with facing somebody is that you can never complain about how tired you are.
That's true.
Like, man, my legs are really feeling this. Man,
Jeez.
you can feel it holding.
This is just a sampling of what the trail's been like for the last 60 miles. Unbelievable. Oh, goodness. Yeah. Horrible. Horrible conditions. Beautiful Lake Powell. So nice to see the water level high again. We're at a little over 95 miles. Got about 3 more miles on this, and then finally be off the rim trail. Finally leaving the plateau after 6 long, cold, muddy, miserable loops. We are at mile 98.83. This race runs a little long, so we've got about a little under 3 miles to the finish, but all downhill, no mud.
You're gonna swing and hit that thing. Go for it.
We made it.
Woo. That means you have done it. 100 miles for Luis Leon, and right behind him, there he is, Jason Baum from Prescott Valley. All right, Jason, throw the news down.
Okay.
Here we go.
Come on, Jace, give it a good one.
Jason and Luis
Good job.
coming in together. Congratulations, guys.
It was so hard.
Now we have springs.
Hey, you ditch your pacer, huh?
She was like, there's a guy in your tail. If you can push, like, go. So I went, but he still caught me.
Freaking sprinted at 101 miles.
That was not all the problem.
Sorry, Jasmine.
It's okay.
I don't know which one I want.
We have more here, so.
We have plenty more,
Well-
so if the one's not speaking to you,
This
we'll
is
pull out
already
more.
too many options.
Yeah, I need to think about this. I can't make a decision.
First mail.
What with this one?
First mail that came in.
We also have a
What was the winning time?
Huh?
What was the winning time?
He came in.
So it's Tuesday after the race. So I'm about two days recovered now. I feel pretty good. Actually, really good considering what we went through. Legs feel just about back to normal. So that's good. I had a great time at the race, even though most of it was suffering. That's kind of how these things go sometimes. So just a few closing thoughts and a few things I wanted to touch on. The first thing is I had some wrong information during the race. So at one of the aid stations, I had been told that there were about 200 that started the race. That wasn't true. That was actually, it was 79 that started. So I'm not sure where they got the 200 number from, but it was 79 that started. But the finishing numbers were pretty close to being accurate. There were 26 finishers out of 79, so about 2/3 dropped. And I ended up coming in 13th out of the 26 finishers, so pretty happy with that. But yeah, I just wanted to correct that. There was not 200 that started the race, but still a pretty low finishing percentage. about 30% or so that finished this thing. So tough race under normal conditions, really tough race under these conditions. So I'm really happy to have finished it. The second thing that I wanted to address was the wait for the ladder that I had talked about. This was when we went into Waterhole's slot canyon. We dropped in at a different spot this year. I don't know why they rerouted it. I don't know if this rail was damaged or if they had just gotten complaints that the original descent was too sketchy. So we dropped in at a different spot this year, just on a ladder that was maybe 25 feet tall or so. And if you're afraid of heights, like, I can definitely see how that would be a sketchy thing to do, because you kind of have to like step your leg over the cliff and get it on the rung before you descend down. And I mean, it's a pretty skinny ladder, so you're kind of, I don't know, like, I was fine with it, but I could definitely see where people wouldn't be. And I think the problem with that was, first of all, you can only have like 2 people go down at the same time. So you were kind of waiting anyway. But people that were afraid were kind of taking it really, really slowly. So it just caused for a big bottleneck there. So I waited about 45 minutes. I know other runners waited about 45 minutes. But the race director did push the overall cutoff time back an hour for the 100-miler because of that situation, which I think was the right thing to do, because, this race kind of has aggressive cutoff times anyway. So just to lose 45 minutes for no reason, I definitely think it was the right thing to do to push the cutoff time back. So if you look at the results, traditionally this has been a 30-hour cutoff, but this year was a 31-hour cutoff. So there were a handful of people that finished within that 30 to 31-hour window, but still credited with a finish and not a DNF. So kudos to Vacation Races for handling that situation. But I still would like to see that different for future races, just because waiting 45 minutes in the middle of a race just isn't ideal. You start getting cold, your legs start cramping up, it's just not a good thing to have to stop for that long. So hopefully they can address that and find a better solution for next year. The final thing I wanted to talk about, and I wish I would have got a better job filming this because it was actually pretty epic. But my plan for the finish was to have Jasmine, my pacer, take the GoPro and kind of film me going in. So we're about a half mile from the finish line. And, we're running, 13-minute miles, 14-minute miles, like not super fast, but it's the end of 100-miler, so you're tired. So anyway, I guess she looked back and she's like, hey, there's someone on your tail. If you have the energy to push, you might want to go. So as soon as she said that, I'm like, oh no, this guy's not catching me. So I take off, and so I run it in, and I'm doing I looked at my watch and I was doing 9 30-minute miles, which I thought was pretty good at the end of a 100-miler. This guy passes me right at the final turn, and he's sprinting it into the finish, and we're both running hard, but he catches me. And so I asked him afterwards, I was like, dude, what were you running there? Did you check to see what your pace was? And he's like, yeah, I was doing low 7s. Dang, dude, you deserve to pass me if you're running low 7s at the end of 100. But it was a pretty epic finish. But because I was kind of caught up in that, I didn't really get a good video of my finish. I think he passed me right before I turned the video camera on, but in hindsight, I wish I would have started recording as soon as I took off, because it was kind of an epic foot race to the finish. And he caught me, but it is what it is. It's fine. I'm still really happy with how that went, and it was kind of fun to be involved in a sprint finish at the end of a 100-mile race. So that was that, and I'll show you just the buckle again, my little collection of buckles here. But this is the one that I picked out for this race. I really wanted a red buckle for Antelope Canyon, just because there's a lot of red rock in that surrounding area. And especially this year with all the mud and the clay and everything, I think red was very appropriate. So pretty happy I was able to get that. The really cool thing about these events is all the buckles are unique. So there's my Zion buckle from Vacation Races. So all the Vacation Races Ultras have all different buckles. They're all handmade, and they all have something unique to the course, right? So this little grassy thing was actually part of the course. Same thing with the Zion buckle, the little leaves there. So I think that's kind of a cool, kind of unique. Every buckle's unique for these races, so it's a nice touch. Anyway, I'm gonna get this video together and get it uploaded. My next big adventure is gonna be the Cocodona 250. Going back for that this year. Ran it last year and, swore I'd never do it again, but here we are, 6 weeks out and doing it again. So really looking forward to that. And I'm sure I'll jump into some smaller races in the meantime just to kind of keep the training going. So we'll see what kind of videos we'll come out with until then. But if nothing, I'll definitely do another video for Coconut, so be on the lookout for that. So if you watch this, thank you. Like and subscribe and comment and follow me on Strava. I'll put links everywhere you can follow me. And we'll see you on the next adventure.